All right, everybody, you know what time it is. The Real Talk Sports Show is coming up right now. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Real Talk Sports Show. I'm your host, Minister Jonathan Simmons, and we are happy to have you back on with us here again for another live broadcast brought to you from Christian Media Enterprises, Inc., we're LLC actually, and we thank God for being able to be back out here with you on another Tuesday afternoon. Hopefully, you guys can hear me and see me clearly. Well, we're going to get the show on the road. When we do this sports talk show, we bring on one of the most beautiful women in sports talk radio or TV. I'm talking the one and only queen herself, Miss Tree Dolman is in the building. Tree, welcome back.
Hey, Jonathan. Hi, everybody.
How are you?
I'm doing quite all right. How are you doing?
Not too shabby. I purchased a new computer over the weekend. Well, actually, over the weekend. New computer.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Very excited. I now have a Asus. Yeah, I'm on it now. You actually have an Asus with an i7 and fancy 512 gig solid state drive, lots of memory. So hopefully and prayerfully, we'll be without incident. I'm over my daughter's house. And so much lighter than the one I had before. That's the other thing. I mean, it's like probably about half the weight. So.
Oh, yeah, the newer computers are much lighter. Yay, congratulations, Jonathan.
Thank you. So how was your weekend?
My weekend actually was pretty awesome. I got out of the house a little. I know you're surprised, but I had promised one of the girls that I work with in volleyball, I promised her that I would go to at least one tournament this season. And so I wanted to go to a smaller tournament. So I went and watched her play. And then one of my friends from college, his daughter was playing volleyball in a showcase. So I went to go see her and just give her advice to help her out. And then I had a graduation party. One of my friend's sons was graduating high school. And so he had an outdoor graduation party. So I went by there and was able to see some of my friends. So I had a busy, fun weekend.
So you was moving and grooving basically on the weekend. Had lots of fun, and you were out and about. And I was backstage. I was like, she was out.
Yeah.
Tree is out.
I was out and about.
It was a good weekend to be out. Yeah, it was a good weekend because, again, we obviously are being very cautious and being safe. But at the end of the day, it was good to be out in the atmosphere, the warm weather. Now keep in mind, folks, I'm not a doctor. I don't work for all these health organizations. But allegedly, when the weather is warm and you have a good breeze, whatever kind of hanging out there has a tendency not to hang around. So very excited for the warm weather and the gentle breezes that are cooking right now. Very, very excited. And speaking of cooking, it looks like the Braves have been cooking. We're going to have Brian join us in just a second. Look like they're playing much better now.
Yeah, I had hope.
Yeah, I think all of us had hopes that, this thing would kind of turn around for them. I mean, at the end of the day, it's we knew that as good as a team they were not going to continue to play as poorly as they had. So, yeah, we're looking forward to Brian coming on and joining us and talk about, what they're doing now. I believe they're over 500. I'm going to check the record here and see. Yes, they are. They are now finally over the 500 mark. They are now 28-27.
Oh, good.
And that's what I talked about. I mean, I talked about them, trying to being in the mix and being back in at around 500 or better around the 4th of July. And they've actually done it early. They're actually ahead of schedule already here in June. So, yeah, we look forward to talking to them about the Braves and how much better they're playing now. And, of course, we talked about last week, big key is when you're playing teams that are not too good, you need to go ahead and make hay.
Oh, definitely. That's definitely, that should be the goal. Never let them think they can play with you.
Oh, no. And the other thing, too, which is cool, they got the big bats working again. Of course, anytime you go out to that thin air out there in Denver on Coors Field, it was bombs away as everybody seemed to get right. So, like I said, good to see the Braves, back to kind of what we expected and playing the kind of ball that got everybody excited about coming out to the ballpark and watching them. Hopefully and prayerfully, I'll be able to get out to the park sooner rather than later. One of the things I'm looking to do is that we had a connection. Excuse me, I just dropped my phone. But a connection at our dealership, and we actually got a chance to, by phone, meet the director of public safety for Cobb County.
Oh, nice.
Right. And what do you think one of his jobs are? Is to make sure that the Braves, when they have their games, everything's good. And he said, I tell you what, he said, when Freddie comes back to town, he said, you call me and we'll get you into the game. So I'm excited because, that's going to be a big, big, big weekend when Freddie Freeman comes back home. So, yes,
that'll be a great game to attend. I'm happy you'll be going and getting in the park to see Freddie.
Get in the park, absolutely. Well, speaking of being in the park, this guy normally is in the park when the Braves are here, but the Braves are out of town. So we actually just text him. This guy covers the Braves. He also covers a lot in terms of pop culture and how that intersects with sports. You know him, guys. Our main man, Brian L. Jones, is back in the building. Brian, welcome back.
Great to be back. Thanks for having me on.
Yes, sir. Well, Brian, I'm very excited. I was telling Tree I got a new computer.
Oh, nice.
And I don't know what to do with myself. It's an i7.
Yeah.
Got 500 gigs, solid state drive. Who knows what I might do now? But anyway, how have you been? And help us catch up a little bit with the Braves. It looks like they kind of ride the ship over 500 now for the first time in early in the season.
Yeah, they're over 500 for the first time since the beginning of April. They've won their last 5, and it was coming after not being able to win 3 in a row, and they've been able to take advantage of some teams that are struggling. They're able to sweep the Rockies. It's the first time in history that the Braves have swept the Rockies in Colorado in a 4-game series. And now they're playing the Oakland Athletics. It's tied at 2 in the third. Ronald Acuna has 2 home runs, so he's starting to finally get that power back. But he's been, even without the power, he's been playing really good baseball when he's in the lineup. He's played about half of the Braves games so far and has batted over 300, has over 10 stolen bases. His on-base percentage is up there, so he's been a big producer for the Braves. And you're also seeing guys like Austin Riley, Dansby Swanson, Adam Duvall. They're coming around with the bat. So that's been one of the big reasons why the Braves have been able to turn things around. And they should be able to beat an Athletics team. It's only a 2-game series, and the Athletics are a team that's been struggling. They come into the game losing in their last 6. No one's going to those games. They're talking about getting a new stadium. So hopefully the Braves can get these sweep the Athletics, and then they'll take on the Pittsburgh Pirates at Truist Park. So things are looking good for the Braves right now. I knew they're able to turn things around after just struggling a little bit the next couple of months. Now it's just a matter of catching up with the Mets, and the Mets are a team that's not really losing right now. They're still playing good baseball, but I think this is going to be an interesting race when it comes to the NL East.
Tree, what do you think? I mean, now the Braves are kind of righted their ship. Any questions you might have right now from Mr. Jones about the Bravos?
Yeah, I do. So what do you think has been the biggest difference that you've seen with them starting to be able to win now? What do you think it was?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is offensively, they've been able to be more selective when it comes to the pitches that they're hitting. And, when you look at what these players have done historically, you figured they would just figure things out. I think they struggled maybe because it was a short spring training, if anything, because of the lockout that the owners and players were going through. So I knew that once they were able to get their feet under them, they were able to do some things great offensively. Pitching, they've been pretty consistent, especially the bullpen. The bullpen's one of the best in baseball, even though there's been a little bit of struggles, but for the most part, overall, the bullpen's been strong. And you're getting good production from your starting rotation, whether it's Charlie Morton, Max Fried, Kyle Wright, who's pitching tonight. Hopefully, you get Mike Soroka back sometime after the All-Star break. And I think once that happens, then you'll really see the Braves turn things up. So the biggest thing is just offensively. They've been more patient at the plate. They're not striking out as much. They've been able to get on base, which is the important thing. And once you do that, that leads to wins. So that's the biggest reason why the Braves have been able to turn things around.
So what kind of challenge do you think is going to be for Matt Olson? Like you mentioned, he is starting to play better now. Going back to Oakland, is that going to be a jitter time for him, or you think he's going to do like Freddie has done and play very well?
I think he'll play very well. I think what's interesting about both Matt and Freddie is their numbers. Freddie's numbers are a little bit better, but both of them, their stats are pretty much similar. And I think that's no surprise because there's two of the best first basemen in all of baseball. And I think Olson, at least in a few weeks ago, he was struggling defensively, but he's starting to come around with the bat. And he actually, I think he had a single so far in this game tonight. So he's having no issues going up against his former team. I think in a way, because of the way things are going now in Oakland, he's kind of glad to be away from that situation. And I also think he's glad to be at a place where he grew up. He grew up in the Metro Atlanta area. So I don't think he's going to have any issues playing against the A's as we've seen so far. And I think he's just only going to continue to get better. I think when the season's all said and done, he'll probably have around 30 home runs, close to 100 RBIs, and I'll have a really productive 2022 season. So I know when the Dodgers come to town later this month, I know that's going to be a big thing with Freddie Freeman and Matt Olson, but both of these players are doing great things for the teams, and hopefully you see these teams again once October rolls around.
Yeah, I'm very excited about it. I was just telling Tree that I had a chance to interact with the gentleman that handles public safety for Cobb County. He said, brother, when you're ready, if you don't have credentials, let me know. We'll get you on in there so you can see Freddie's return. So it's going to be must-see TV for sure. Tree, well, how would you feel, going back home to play if you, for example, got into the WNBA and they played a game where near you live? Would that be a thrill for you? Would that be tension, a little bit of both? What would that be for you?
Oh, it definitely would not be tension. It would be phenomenal. If I can go back home to Detroit and play for the WNBA, or if they're a professional volleyball team and I can go and play at home where I had so many practices and my friends and family could come and watch me play, that would just energize me even more. I would love it.
Yeah, I think it would be kind of fun. You go home and you have all your family and friends. And, again, for Matt Olson, we talked about before, the idea of playing in front of your hometown crowd, a team that you grew up watching. Yeah, it's got to be the coolest thing. So we're looking forward for him to continue to do some big stuff. All right, Brian, the other thing, too, is we're hearing some rumblings about Fried being in the hunt already for the Cy Young. What do you think he's going to have to do to possibly make that happen?
Just continue to be consistent. Just continue to pitch the way he's been pitching. I think in some ways, Max Fried is kind of overlooked because he's not like what Corbin Burns, the reigning Cy Young winner, is. He's not what Jacob deGrom is. He's injured right now, but deGrom should be coming back soon. But Fried has been very consistent throughout his career. And I think based on the way he's pitched so far this season, he should be at least in the running to win the Cy Young. I think so far this season, I think he's been your best pitcher other than Kyle Wright. Charlie Morton's been kind of up and down, but he's been hanging in there. But so I think once Max Fried he kind of struggled a little bit at the beginning of the year, but he's been able to turn things around and be your consistent pitcher, kind of like what he was last year. So he's definitely going to be in the running. He continues to pitch 6 or 7 innings each time he's out there. Continues to get those ground balls, continues to not put himself into tough situations, and I think he's done a good job of that so far. So yeah, Max Fried will definitely be in the running. I hope he does finish in the top 5, maybe in the top 3, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, speaking of one last thing before we kind of wrap things up here in this segment. Speaking of hometown heroes, how about the young man coming up from Double A to the Braves from Stockbridge, right down the road from where you're on the south side? He's got to be amped about playing here again, basically for his hometown team.
Yes, Michael Harris has been a really big addition for the Braves, especially defensively. His ability to get whatever is out there anywhere in the outfield, I think that's a huge boost. And offensively, he's been doing some pretty good things as well. There's been times he would struggle, but that's expected from a guy who's coming straight from Double A. I think he's been a really big addition for the Braves so far, and I think he's only going to get better. And it just goes to show you what the Braves have done in the minor league system over the last few years. There's going to be some more young guys that you might hear about later on this year, but I think Michael Harris has been a guy that has been really productive for the Braves, and I think he's going to be a big key for their success moving forward. So I'm really excited to see how he progresses. I know fans are as well. I think the Braves over the years have done a good job developing these young players and bringing them up and showing what they can do, whether it's Ronald Acuna, Ozzie Albies, Austin Riley, Dansby Swanson, all those guys. Braves fans can remember the first time when they came up and the impact that they made. So I think Michael Harris is going to be just another one of those guys that comes up through the system and does well for the Braves.
Yeah, the Braves, people don't talk about it much, but they really must have one of the best farm systems in the league. And they have actually had it almost about 30 years. You're going all the way back to the late 80s, early 90s, where they had Chipper and all these guys coming through. So yeah, just kudos to the Braves, and we look forward to them to do some big stuff going on to the rest of the year. All right, guys, keep it locked right here. We're going to take a quick little break. You're watching, listening, hearing the Real Talk Sports Show right here, courtesy of our parent company, Christian Media Enterprises, and of course, the people at WIGO. We'll be back in just a moment. Don't go nowhere, please. Thank you.
The day has arrived. It's time to let more people know about your business. You have the right marketing plan and the messaging in place. But do you have the right messenger? Good advertising and promotions need a professional sound so the message can be clearly understood. Don't leave your brand image to chance. Let our team of voiceover experts at CME lend you a hand. Give us a call at 678-304-8121 to find out how we can partner with you to give your business its voice. Are you in the market for a new vehicle? Well, check out Allen Vigil Ford Lincoln in Morrow, Georgia. We have one of the largest inventories in our area for both new and pre-owned vehicles, so we're sure to have something for everyone. Family owned and operated since 1982, customer satisfaction is our number one priority. Come see our full lineup of vehicles and find the one that best fits you. Give us a call today, 678-726-5739, or shop us 24/7 online at allenvigilford.net.
All right, guys, we're back here. You're listening, watching, and hearing the Real Talk Sports Show as we go around the room. Brian Jones in the upper right-hand corner. The lovely Miss Tree Dolman right next to him. And the red-faced minister right down here in the bottom. And, of course, if we have beautiful people and we have people with knowledge and wisdom about our local team, we also have to have a champion. He is a legendary, that's what I said, legendary high school and college football player. Also played over a decade in the NFL and won not one but two World Championship Super Bowl titles with the New England Patriots. He is also a member of the Fort Valley State Sports Hall of Fame. The one and only number 38, but number one in our hearts. Mr. Tyrone Poole is in the building. What's going on, sir?
Hello, everybody. How you doing? Hope everybody's having a great day wherever you are. Brian, Tree, Minister, and everybody watching and listening. Welcome.
Yes, sir. Well, it's good to have you, brother. I was very excited telling everybody I got a new computer. Praise the Lord. I don't know what to do with myself, bro. My face is you see my face is red. I'm so excited about to do a computer. All right, let's go social media real quick. Before we shift gears, our man Todd says, Preacher MLB has declared the Braves one of the worst farm systems, totally depleted. I don't know about that. Brian, what are your thoughts about that? I think their farm system pretty good.
Per rankings, they're not where they would be, towards the bottom, maybe in the bottom half of the league right now. But that has a lot to do with some of the issues that they had a few years back. But overall, as you mentioned, Minister, 30 years, the Braves farm system has been pretty consistent. I think these next couple of years are going to be interesting because they're not going to be as strong as what they once were, and that's just because of the players that they've called up and what they've traded. But I think where they are right now, they're still a young team. Like when you talk about guys like Ronald Acuna, Ozzie Albies, Dansby Swanson, there's some veterans here and there, whether it's Charlie Morton, but overall they're still a young team, and there's still some guys, whether it's Drew Waters, there's some guys in the minor league system that are going to be called up. So it's going to be a little bit shorthanded from what it was a few years back. But I think based on where the Braves are right now, this is what they wanted. In the farm system a few years back was strong, and now these players are in the major leagues, and now they're, last year they won a World Series, and hopefully they can be World Series contenders for years to come. So the Braves are right where they want to be. I think in the next few years they'll try to build that farm system back up, and then you just hope that they continue to be a World Series contender.
That's what I'm saying. All right, Tyrone Poole, any questions, comments for Brian Jones before we wrap up the Braves segment, sir?
No, sir. I think you guys about covered everything.
Think so, too. Yeah, so again, we're looking forward to the Braves continue to do what they do. Again, the bats came alive, especially out there in Denver, and so we look for them to continue to do what they need to do. All right, guys, and we expected to have a young lady, Ms. Vattel Webb, who has been involved with some really great stuff in terms of outreach ministry. She recently did a kind of combination gospel play and outreach. We're hoping to have her on the broadcast, but she has been kind of getting things set, packing things up from the event. So we're not sure if we're going to have her jump in here. So while we are waiting for her, want to see if any of you guys got some hot topics out there that you think that we should address right now on the Real Talk Sports Show.
Aaron
Brian, you got that good?
Yeah, that Aaron Donald's actually pretty interesting.
Well, talk to us a little bit about Aaron Donald and what is going on with the Los Angeles Rams. Brian, the floor is yours.
Well, Aaron Donald just signed a new contract where he's getting $95 million, I believe, making him the highest paid non-quarterback in the history of the NFL. And during the Super Bowl, right before the Super Bowl, there were talks about Aaron Donald possibly retiring. And then in a recent interview, he said he wanted to play in the NFL for 8 years. It's been 8 years. And if he doesn't get a new contract, they'll probably retire. Aaron Donald has been arguably the best player in the NFL. He's a 7-time first-team All-Pro selection, been to the Pro Bowl every year he's been in the league. Defensive Rookie of the Year, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. He's just been a guy that's he's going to go to the Hall of Fame. He's already part of the All-Decade team. So it just made sense for the Rams to make this decision. So I'm happy for him. I think he's been great for the league. He's been great for the Rams. He's been great for the city of Los Angeles. And the fact that he's now a Super Bowl champion, he's pretty much done everything you can as an NFL player. But I know based on his competitive spirit, he wants to do more. He wants to run it back with the Rams, and I think they have the ability to do so.
Tyrone, you've been there, done that. Your thoughts? I know you talked a little bit about it last week. The Aaron Donald signing.
So you asking me, what's your question again?
Yeah, so your thoughts. We talked a little bit about last week. Did he possibly lose some leverage? What do you think about him getting this big contract? Did he play it right? Well, evidently, I guess he did because he got the money. But what are your thoughts?
Well, I'm going to say this. Going back what Brian said, he was going to retire, man. Come on, that dude was not going to retire, man. All right? He's not going to retire. All that stuff is talk. But it's just to give people who are sports reporters, give them something to talk about. All right? That guy was not going to retire. All right? When you got it in your blood like that, you competitive like that, where else are you going to go find something competitive to where you could just play and love doing it? So, man, that stuff was straight talk. Unless the doctors tell him, you got to shut it down. That's the only way he's going to shut it down. So I wasn't even buying that I'm going to retire in 8 years and all that. All you got to do is go look at Tampa Bay. You know, Tom said the same thing. and Tom is older. So once you know, the competitive athletes, man, I'm telling you, anybody out there that has been competitive in anything, it's hard to let it go. All that stuff is talk. It's just like a husband and wife. They get mad at one another. You make me this and that. And then later on, hey, what you doing, baby? Yeah, you know what? Don't ever make a temporary decision, make a permanent decision, a temporary situation. So he was just blowing smoke, man. But hey, he got paid though, right? He got paid. So
he got paid nicely. Tree, I know you're excited. The guy plays one of your favorite positions, defensive line. How much longer do you think he might play? What are your thoughts?
You said how much longer? Well, I can't say.
Yeah,
you know, in football, you can never tell how long somebody will play because the injuries and how hard the game is on your body. But I am happy that he is the highest paid player outside of the quarterback, because I say all the time, defense wins championships. And so it's just letting people know how important and how valuable he is to his team and to the game of football. So he is definitely getting rewarded for his hard work and the many great plays that he makes on defense, which does change the game. So I'm very happy for him. And we just need more people to be more defensive minded and get out there, and hopefully they can try to work to be more like Aaron Donald, because he is definitely one of the greatest to ever play.
Hey, and I say this real quick. You know, he got paid, right? All that money. So, you know, there was a time back in the day, several years ago, where the fans, we're going to boycott football and don't nobody go to the games. You guys see how much money the NFL got? So, yes, you probably can, you know, hold them down, and they, you know, probably get upset that nobody's showing up at the stands in the stands. But you know what? That just goes to show how much money the NFL got coming in. All right. So the NFL gonna be around for a while. So but it's gonna be a lot of guys gonna get paid.
Tyrone, I'm waiting for your Jerry Maguire, brother. I'm waiting for it. Show me the.
It's all about show me the money. Show me the money. And the NFL got money. So I'm like, you know, again, the NFL ain't going nowhere, man. Everybody loves football. And the other reason why the NFL not going anywhere, because it's probably one of the top sports that these bookies be betting on. So that's another reason why football ain't going nowhere. So
number one watch sport. It's big time.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you're right. I mean, the NFL is like it's a money machine. Brian, I know you're seeing it in pop culture that they are, you know, kind of merging. I shouldn't say merging, but they have their hands in everything. They're trying to go international. I mean, it's just like any place where there's some money to be had, the NFL goes, okay, we're going there.
Well, the NFL compared to the NBA or even Major League Baseball or even the NHL, when you're talking about the four major professional sports in North America, they just know how to market the league. They know how to take away headlines, even though it's the off season. There's always something to talk about when it comes to the NFL. You know, we're talking about Aaron Donald now. Aaron Rodgers said he's going to retire as a Packer. There's always something going on with the NFL, and the fact that you know, it's always compelling. It's always, when it comes to the in season, the games is always compelling. It's always entertaining. The Super Bowl is the biggest televised event of the year. Yeah, I mean, the NFL is going to be the number one league in all of professional sports, and it's going to continue to be that way for years to come. It's going to be difficult for any other league to compete with the NFL because of how they market their product. So the NFL over the years, you know, fans are going to complain because they're fans, but the NFL is always going to be number one.
Go ahead, Tyrone.
I think people like it because it's a gladiator sport. That's why we like it. Go back to the Roman gladiators. Why did they come to see? They come to see fight. They come to see aggression. They come to see, and that's what football gives you. That's why it's the number one sport.
Are you not entertained?
Football is entertaining. Something's always happening. Like I said, go back and look at Rome. They didn't have no football back then, but the principle is people like aggression, man, and they like to see it carried out, and they get opportunity. It's just my opinion here, but you don't get none of that in basketball. You don't get none of that in baseball. You know, it's kind of a slow game. But football, as soon as that ball is snapped, somebody's getting hit, and I just think that's just how we built as people. You know, we just like warriors, man. We like warriors. That's just
But no question, man. I mean, go ahead, Tree. You gonna say something? Go ahead.
I know. I was just saying when he was talking about the gladiators, and I just said, "Are you not entertained?" From the scene, The Gladiator.
Yeah, the classic line. But it's the truth. I mean, going back forever and a day, the NFL has always been about entertainment. I mean, I always remember the famous quote with Joe Namath speaking to the wife of his owner of the Jets that time. He had just signed that huge $400,000 contract. That's crazy to think that was the number one contract back in the day. But anyway, Mr. Werblin, Sonny Werblin, was the owner of the Jets that time. His wife, when she was talking to Namath at some kind of event, he talked about his play and so forth and so on. And he said she just looked at him and kind of leaned over and she said, Joseph, we're in the entertainment business, don't you? And that's why we saw in real time a guy from middle-class Pennsylvania went and played under Bear Bryant, one of the legendary coaches in Alabama. Within a few years after he came to New York, suddenly he became Broadway Joe because of the entertainment value. That's just the way it is. Okay, let's go to social media for a second. My man Todd, he said, how is the commissioner, I know he means not, instead of Nick, how has the commissioner not suspended Deshaun Watson either with or without pay? And before we wrap up, what do you guys think about this whole Deshaun Watson situation? I'm going to go around and ask you guys how long you think he may be suspended by the NFL for 2022. Brian, I'll hit you up first, brother. What do you think?
It's going to be interesting to see what happens these next couple of months. I think there will be some type of suspension. I'm not sure how long. It could be 6 games, could be 8 games, but this thing is not going away. I know that it's been to court and they pretty much said they don't have any criminal charges against Watson, but I think as more information comes out, and there is more information coming out, this is something that the NFL can't ignore. So I'm not sure they could have him on opening weekend. But again, this is going to be interesting to see what happens. I think if he's not suspended, it could be a situation like where it was last year, where the Browns just not have him play, at least to start off with, and just see what happens. So I'm curious to find out what's going to be the final result, if there is a final result that happens in these next couple of months. But this is just gets more and more interesting as the days go on.
And how are things going to work out? The other thing, too, is with Baker Mayfield still under contract. It's another weird thing. Tree, what do you think? How long for Mr. Watson will he be gone?
I'm really not sure because, as Brian stated, there have not been any criminal charges. And so I don't know. I would say maybe 3 games. I would just assume. I'm not really sure, but I am curious to see how long they will suspend him with the evidence that they have and what's been out there. So I don't know, but I am waiting to see what's going to happen, because I did see that another accuser came forward recently. So the numbers
I think she actually appeared on HBO too. Tyrone, what do you think? How long Mr. Watson going to get from the NFL?
I don't know about all that, what the NFL going to do, but what I can say is that if I'm Deshaun Watson, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and try to save my character, man. Don't be like the Michael Vicks of the world, all right? Be like the David Lettermans of the world. Michael Vick tried to sit around, oh, no. David Letterman, he's okay, yeah, I did it, whatever. So what I'm saying is, man, Deshaun, go get on Oprah. Go get on Oprah, man, and talk about your situation, whatever it is. And I'm telling you, clean up the mess. Go ahead and clean it up now. Because it ain't going to go nowhere. I'm like, in this day and age, the way people are money hungry, somebody that he's had any type of interaction with, and then you got these lawyers, they looking for situations, okay? They looking for that trump card. So if I'm Deshaun Watson, I'm going to go ahead and get in front of it, man. I'm going to go ahead, hey, Oprah, I want to get on your show. I want to talk. And one thing I do know about people, they will forgive some of them.
Yeah, no doubt. I think that you're right. That people using America are very forgiving. I think personally, Deshaun, I lean towards 3. I think really it should be less rather than more, because he already has been out for a season already. This is dragged on, a long time. So I think he should 2 games to me, maximum 4. That's really it. I mean, the guy's been out for quite a bit, And that's really it. Now, Todd says he should get 24 games or 24 months. I'm not sure what that means. But, Todd, he ain't being out for no 2 years, brother. I can tell you that. That's not happening. Forget about it. So we shall see. It's going to be must-see TV as always. Like Brian mentioned earlier, that's why he had the podcast. What was it? Always football season?
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. So that's why, because it's always football season. Well, speaking of season, it's always a good time to recognize our folks that support the broadcast. So we're going to take a little time out, and then we'll be back with more football talk on the Real Talk Sports Show. Don't go nowhere. Why? We'll be right back.
Did you know that Allen Vigil Ford in Morrow, Georgia also has Lincoln? Over 35 years of using the Vigil Touch to provide excellent customer service, works hand in hand with the Lincoln Motor Company to provide a luxurious and seamless way to acquire your next luxury vehicle. Lincoln has an array of full-service complimentary owner benefits. These benefits include hospitality partnerships, service pickup and delivery, all which can be accessed through the Lincoln Way app. You can even contact the 24/7 concierge to have someone assist you. Come and see our great inventory of new and pre-owned Lincolns today. Call 678-364-7345 to make an appointment with one of our brand champions or shop 24/7 online at allenvigillincoln.net.
This is OJ Howard with Real Talk Sports.
What's up, guys? This is Tim Tebow. You're listening to Real Talk Sports.
This is Charles Woodson. Let me grab the mic. You ready? This is Charles Woodson with Real Talk Sports. Hey, it's your boy JB Smooth with Real Talk Sports.
All right, we are back, folks. You're listening to the final segment of the Real Talk Sports Show as we go around the room here talking football. I shouldn't say the final segment. We're in the final half of the broadcast. It's me, the Minister Jonathan Simmons. Right next to me, Mr. Brian Jones. Right underneath us, the lovely Miss Tree Dolman. And the champion, Mr. Tyrone Poole. All right, NFL camps are open. D-Led is supposed to be joining us a little bit later on in the broadcast to talk about the Falcons. We already talked a lot of stuff going on in terms of contracts with Aaron Donald, things like that. And we still got a couple of people still out there. Debo has not signed a contract. Is that correct? In the 49ers, he's still kind of hanging out there in the weeds?
I think that's right, but I think he's reporting to camp.
Okay.
From what I understand.
So he's reporting to camp. Gotcha. Yeah, that's an interesting situation. Another guy that wants more money. Speaking of money, the Rams, obviously, they also – spending money on Cooper Kupp. Once you win, and Tyrone, I don't know I can't remember how the Patriots kind of dealt with that, but what kind of, I don't want to say pressure, I don't know if that's the right word, but as far as management, player personnel, how much more pressure are you under once you actually win that Super Bowl as far as keeping guys and signing new guys?
Again, I just take it from Herm Edwards. You play the game to win. So you want to try to get as many people up on the contract as possible, point blank. If a guy don't want to be there, hey, it's revolving doors. You go find somebody else. I don't care how good the guy is. You have a good system in place and you go find good players. But good coaches, they've already managed that, okay? They've already managed that. They got a time window. They got a time frame, a window that this is how we're going to win. And if you win, then players, you don't have to go out and beg players to come there. Players going to come because they want to win. So you look at any winning organization across the platform of sports. It's not hard if you win it. Now, it's hard if you win it one time and maybe, you're trying to come back and win it again. You have no history of winning. Then, yes, guys want to get paid. But if you have a winning formula, then players want to stay. And they'll do whatever they can to stay. They'll renegotiate their contracts. You have other guys that are due big salaries, and they'll renegotiate their contract just so they can keep a player on the team. But when a team is not used to winning, then players like, hey, I got my trophy. Now I'm about to go get paid. But when you win, people love that environment, man. I'm telling you, I've been a part of it. It's nothing like it. Like they say, when you win, man, the food tastes good, and everybody who you come in contact look good. Look good. So I'm telling you, I've been there, seen it. Man, nothing like winning.
And what was it like to actually repeat? Because that's the hardest thing in sports, to repeat as a champion.
That's very difficult, man. Very difficult. And I'll be very quick with this explanation, but I have the trophy behind me. Okay, those are back to back. It's only about, let's see, the Steelers did it twice. They did 74, 75, I believe, and then 70, 75, was 74, 75 and 76. And then they did
74, 75. Yeah. No, 75 and 76. You're right. 75 and 76. Yep.
78 and 79. All right. Yep. Seasons. Then it was the Green Bay Packers did it. The Denver Broncos did it. And then the New England Patriots did it. The Patriots could have done it twice if they had beaten the Eagles. I still think we gave that game to the Eagles in the Super Bowl. All the turmoil going on up there in Foxborough. But to answer your question, it's very difficult because when you win that first one, you kind of catch everybody by surprise. But then the second time you come around, it's like that bully. Okay, the first time he hit me with the right arm. Okay, I fight him again. Guess what you're looking for? The right arm. So when you can come and knock that person out twice with the right arm, and they know it's coming, it's tough. So the second one is always the toughest. That's why you don't see a lot of teams going back to back. Yeah, because teams are ready for it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you look at those teams you just mentioned, Packers in the 60s going back to back. They were the first guys to do it in the Super Bowl, obviously, and then the Steelers doing it twice. They had an outside shot to go there 5 times in a row. Another team that I believe did it back to back, the Miami Dolphins. I think they did it, if I'm not mistaken, they did it in 73 and 74, I believe. So, yeah, man, it's a rare thing. We don't see it too much. The Rams obviously going to try to see if they can get it done this year. So, yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting, man. The NFL is – I think the thing that the NFL does, we talked about earlier about marketing. The other thing I think that is big about the NFL, which kind of keeps the engine, is that unlike the other sports, they play the fewest amount of games. You know, we have 17 games now, but, back in the day it was originally 12, then it was 14. So you're only getting those guys for that short window of time. And that's it. They're not playing except one time a week, whether it be Sunday or Monday. Now, of course, you see 2 times because they got Thursday night football. But, yeah, man, I think that's one of the reasons why that engine, continues to go forward. But anyway, let's take a look at the camps. Falcons are in camp. They played they had an open practice in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Brian, I don't know, did you get a chance to actually cover that? I did not get down there because I was working my other job.
Yeah, I was working. I didn't get a chance to check that out.
Yeah, so it looks like Tyrone, did you see any of the clips that they kind of popped up? Because there's some rumblings I want to ask D-Led about. There were some rumblings that the Falcons actually were running plays with Felipe Franks, the third-string quarterback, or actually second-string quarterback, I guess now, third-string, at tight end. You're a guy that switched positions. How hard is that to try to go from playing one position to another at the pro level?
I don't think it's hard at all. Deion did it. Bo Jackson did it. Brian Jordan, Falcon. It's not hard at all. Once you get on that level there, you are an elite athlete. Okay, you are an elite athlete. All you got to do is have time to understand the playbook. Okay, and of course, some other things, but I don't think it's hard at all. Troy Brown played a little bit of defensive back. So once you become an elite athlete, now to the non-athletic people, then it's probably difficult. But for those elite athletes, I'm like, it's just like, for example, LeBron James. LeBron James is an elite athlete. He can play all the positions on the court. Magic Johnson, elite athlete, play all positions on the court. I think anybody else could do it as well, depending on the height and weight and stuff like that, how dominant you would be. But no, once you're a professional athlete, no, it's easy. It's easy. So, I don't think it's a hard transition.
Hey, Tyrone, I just want to say something about that last comment. I don't know why it kind of hurt me. He said, "Well, if you are at top athlete, if you're not an athlete, it looks hard." And I'm thinking to myself, like, I'm in that category of not athlete. It just kind of hit me like a little shade,
Hey, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Well, you know what? People couldn't do what you do. You know what I mean? So, it takes a skill. Like, I'm pretty sure where you operate, where you make your money at your job, you could run that whole business. So it's the same thing. Once you are considered a professional in what you do with your everyday job. Just like athletes, they are professionals, so they can run every position on that team. Just like you can run every position on your job because you know it. You're a professional there.
I feel better now. Yeah, at first I was like, "Dang, you gonna say it like that?" Yeah, you're not an athlete. You won't know that, buddy. Yeah, but it is interesting, that transition, and I guess playing the quarterback position might help you, because you kind of know how the players are diagnosed. You kind of used to, kind of throwing the ball out there. So we'll see. I'm gonna try to pop the headline up that popped around here. Let's grab it here from off of. Here we go. It says that, yes, CBS Sports reports from CBSSports.com. Let's kind of read that out right here now. It says Falcons Felipe Franks getting reps at tight end. It said Franks is wearing a white jersey and working out as tight end instead of as quarterback during individual periods. Michael Rothstein of ESPN.com reports. Now, it's unclear whether this is a permanent move, but it would make sense that since the Desmond. Like I said, also Franks has decided to play tight end at 6'6", 234 pounds. He did ran a 4.59 40-yard dash in his pro day, so he's clearly not lacking for athleticism. The uber-talented 21-year-old Kyle Pitts functioned more like a wide receiver than a traditional tight end, so if the move is permanent, Franks will most likely compete for reps behind Anthony Fisker, who's also flashed some talent of his own in 2022. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, like I said again, D-Led should be joining us hopefully in a few more minutes. But yeah, man, that's a.
You know what?
But I mean, is it?
I'm gonna be real, man.
Go ahead, jump in.
I'm being straight up. If I'm Felipe, I see that's a slap in the face, man. That's a slap in the face. I'm just gonna call it what it is. That's a slap in the face. They basically saying you can't play quarterback. That's what they saying.
Yeah, kind of.
I ain't no kind of that's what they saying. You can't play quarterback.
That's what they saying.
There ain't no kind of in it.
Well, one of the issues with Felipe, and this was like in college, is accuracy has been an issue for him. So I don't know how this all came about. I don't know if he wanted to play tight end. I don't know.
He can't play quarterback. Come on, Brian, I ain't buying that right there, man. But go ahead.
Well, if that was the case, then they wouldn't drafted Desmond Ridder.
Yeah.
So I mean, the reality of it is, he's not going to be playing quarterback this year because Marcus Mariota is going to start, and Desmond Ridder is going to be the backup. And based on the history of Marcus Mariota, Desmond Ridder might be the starter later on in the year. So this is not saying that Felipe Franks is not going to play quarterback at all. I think he's still going to get reps at quarterback. They just want to see how he looks at tight end. It's so early, and we don't know if it's going to stick at training camp. So they're just trying to get a look at him. If I was him, I just want to be on the field, whether it's quarterback, tight end, kicker. I don't care.
That's the difference. That's the difference right there. That's the difference between Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, anybody. This is what I do. This is what I do. Now, somebody, like I said, nothing against what you did. I'm just saying, me personally, right. If somebody say, well, we want you to do this, we want you to cover punts. I just want to be on the field. Man, I'm a cornerback, man. If y'all want to play corner, cut me. I'm gonna go somewhere where I can play quarterback. So that's why I came up in high school, college. That's what I do. But again, like you say, if you just want to be on the team, yeah, put me anywhere. But I'm the type of person I want to play where I know that's where I'm groomed to do it. So again, sometimes guys, they tell them, hey, you're not going to get many reps at quarterback, and you want to find the best position to keep you on the team. And he probably got a house here. He probably got family, so he's doing whatever he can. But me personally, look here. I play quarterback. Y'all don't want me here? Send me somewhere else.
Ms. Dolman, what you think? You think it'd be worse, quote unquote, swallowing your pride to get on the field, or you're like, hey, I'm a quarterback, darn it, and that's it?
I mean, for me, I can only go by what I was hoping to do because I did not make the United States volleyball team, but I did try out for the USA team. And I tried out. Well, originally I was trying out as a middle because that's my true position, but I also can play right side. I also can play outside. I also can do some setting, but I would never try to be a setter on the USA team. And for me, just because of how hard it is to make the team, my goal was to make the team in whatever position they thought best for me. So that was my position with that. Now, if there was an actual volleyball league that was professional here in the United States, as opposed to when I went to Europe to play professional volleyball, there's no way I was going to have them move me. Actually, they were trying, they have their middles do different things over there than the middles do here. And I actually changed the team because I was telling them, well, no, I need you to set me like this. I need this. So in that sense, I was with Tyrone, where it's like, no, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. This is my position. And I dominated with it. So I can see it in both ways.
Well, I can't really comment. Go ahead, Tyrone.
Get me up out of here. If y'all don't want, man, with the parity of like not enough quarterbacks out there, again, he got to learn a position that he knows nothing about. Tim Tebow thought he could do it, right? And then you know what's gonna probably happen? Felipe gonna be the first one. If not the first one, he gonna be in one of them cuts. All right, he gonna be cut. And then what he gonna try to do? Now he trying to go somewhere where they say, hey, you never were groomed, you never played this position in college. There's no footage on you. The Falcon did an experiment. Then what he gonna try to do? Go back to quarterback?
Wow. Well, we're gonna get the inside right here, guys. Anytime we talk football, especially Falcons football, we bring in the expert. He's the guy that always has the first question at every press conference. He is an award-winning sports writer, and he's the official beat writer for the AJC Sports for the Falcons. And he is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful teacher as well. And he's Esquire par excellence. The one and only D. Orlando Ledbetter is back in the building. D. Led, what is going on, sir?
Hello, Reverend. Thanks for having me on the show. Glad to be back, and good to see all of y'all good friends here on Real Talk Sports.
Now tell us about the gear. You got straight out of, let's see, straight out of Campbell. Okay.
Campbell High.
Yes, sir.
Old band shirt.
There you go. How about the hat? What you got on the hat? What we got?
HBCU combine hat.
What? Come on now. He's sporting everybody. All right, D-Led, so the burning question of the day is, what did you see? How serious are the Falcons looking to try to do anything with Felipe Franks at tight end?
Yeah, I wasn't there last week, but I did talk to Coach the week before, and he said, Felipe's got to find a job. He's got to find a place where he can contribute. And tight end appears to be that spot. I think his brother was a tight end. They got like 8 tight ends on the roster right now. Kyle Pitts is going to be the tight end for the next decade. So, can he block? Can he do some of the other things that the tight ends can do? So yeah, they're just trying to find a spot for him, and he can be the emergency third quarterback. If you're going to have a roster spot, you're going to have to play at some point in the games, and he needs to find a place to play, is what Arthur Smith told me.
So you think this is really just an attempt for the Falcons to try to keep him on board because he has some athletic talent versus just saying, look, we're trying to get this guy up and out of here because we got no room for him in the quarterback room?
Yeah, they don't. They got 2 quarterbacks right now, and he could be the third and then play an emergency. They can get a chance to play him in the exhibition seasons. But, he wasn't very accurate as a passer, but that's been the knock on all 3 of these quarterbacks they have. So I'm sure that they're just exploring all cross-training avenues and, just one of many position switches that they're looking at here in the offseason. Avery Williams no longer is a cornerback. He's a running back now. That's another switch that they made. So, now's the time to do that, not in training camp. See what it looks like. You get to training camp, you're like, hey, go with the quarterbacks. Hey, forget that tight end stuff.
All right, we're going to go around the room for questions. Miss Tree, questions for D. Orlando Ledbetter.
So they're making a lot of moves. Do you think that with him switching over to tight end, if they keep them there, do you see him getting through with 8 tight ends on the roster?
I do not, Miss Tree. You've got Pitts, you've got Fersker. Those are your top 2. Fersker's the blocker of the 2. And the kid from last year, Hesse, played a little bit. They moved John Rain, who was a tight end, to fullback because Keith's out. Just a lot of they got John Fitzpatrick. They drafted as a blocking tight end. You only carry about 4, but you want to have 2 on the practice squad for your, because they run so many double tight end formations. I don't see him cracking the top 8 guys at that position.
Wow. Brian Jones, any questions for Mr. D. Orlando Ledbetter, sir?
Yeah, I do. Obviously they drafted Desmond Ritter. What are your thoughts on him, and how has he looked so far in these off-season workouts? I know that you mentioned that all 3 of the quarterbacks are lacking in accuracy, but Desmond Ritter is a proven winner based on what he did in college. So how has he looked so far?
Like a rookie, Brian, he makes mistakes, every practice that even I can see. So I know that it's a learning process for him. He's got to be able to, the first thing the quarterback's got to be, they got to be able to call the play. Got to be able to get everybody lined up right. Got to be able to fix stuff when guys go to the wrong spot. And so he's working up that part of the problem, that part of the hill, and that's what a lot of the young quarterbacks struggle with. So they don't want to curtail everything they do and only give him a minimum amount of plays. But he struggled. He struggled with, as expected, with the, making the jump up and doing some of the different things. You do like his moxie and his leadership and so forth. But, especially at the rookie minicamp, that stood out. But, yeah, he's a developmental third-round quarterback. And, we'll see how fast they can develop him.
Tyrone Poole, questions for D. Orlando Ledbetter.
What's the news on Deion Jones?
Deion is out with a shoulder surgery. He had a problem last year with his shoulder. He went, he had it taken care of here in the offseason. Coach told me he expects him back at the start of training camp. Then I was like, hey, what's this talk I hear about post-June 1 trade cut? He's like, hey, I expect him here at training camp, but things could change. So, he said he doesn't like dealing with hypotheticals because things could change. As of, last week when I talked to him, he's expecting Deion to be here at training camp competing for a starting job. And he doesn't expect that competition. He expects that to be a real competition at the inside linebacker spot this year.
Yeah, you got a lot of bodies up there now. You certainly brought in the young man who was start Alabama, inside linebacker. You got, I think, Mykal Walker. He plays in that same position as well. And they're going to continue to run, I believe, a 3-4. Is that right?
Yeah, and I saw Rashawn Evans and Mykal working together. The second group was Etheridge and the rookie. And then they also got Nick Kwiatkowski, a veteran. So, they can go play with that group, and Deion's the missing one there. They got a couple of guys land them behind that. It's like it's 7 of them total. But, 3 of them have played in the league. And 4 counting Deion, linebacker for the 3-4. I don't see where, you part ways with Deion. I think, you just let him, I think if you're going to play the best players, that's what they say they're going to do, then he's going to be out there with Evans or Walker. That's how I got him rated. But, I'm not Dean Pease or Frank Bush. So those would be because something happened in Tennessee with Rashawn where he wasn't playing. So he lost his job there. Could have been a personality thing with the position coaches, but Arthur Smith said whatever happened, happened. He's getting a fair shot here. And he's playing a defense that he knows how to play. He thrived under Dean Pease, didn't make the transition to the new defensive coordinator there. So they didn't pick up his 4th-year option. So, he might be Tennessee's trash, but he might be a treasure for the Falcons. So he's a guy to keep an eye on. But Walker has played well in his time. He's a bigger, better fit at the 3-4 than Deion. But, we've seen Deion cover backs out of the backfield, cover tight ends and so forth. So, at the very minimum, he's a third down linebacker. Even if they decide to pull the trigger on this switch. And then Kwiatkowski is a steady linebacker, played a lot, hadn't done a lot. No Pro Bowls out of any of these people. So, that, other than Deion, he had one. So, if you can play football, keep him. If you can't play, then don't keep him. So, Deion can still play football. I think you try to keep some of your talent.
What's happening with Calvin Ridley? Any news from?
No updates there. We were in Miami not Miami, but what's our little town north of Broward County where the owners meeting was. We weren't in
Boca Raton. You there?
It wasn't Boca, it was north of Boca.
All right.
But anyway, wherever the
Someplace
owners meeting,
fancy.
yeah, fancy place. But we wasn't staying in the fancy place. We were staying at the courtyard. So
Well, just checking, D-Led.
drove up to the Breakers, wherever the Breakers is. That's where it was. But we tried to reach out to his people in Miami and get an update. They are content right now, staying in the shadows and getting him some more help and so forth. So I don't have any real update on him other than we traced him around in Miami for a couple of days during the owners meeting.
Any shot you think if he did all the mea culpas and did all the right thing that they could even think to possibly lighten the sentence and he could be back here in any circumstances this year?
No, that gambling is frowned upon. And I talked to a lot of people from Commissioner Goodell to Lee Steinberg, to agents. I mean, that's like the number one golden rule. And we've seen what's going on in some of these other domestic violence cases where, guys only got 6 games and so forth. So gambling is a violation of rule number 1, where the competitive nature of the game cannot be called into question. So I haven't seen a case in the history of the league going back to the 1950s, and I did the story on this, where there has been an appeal of a gambling suspension, successful appeal of a gambling suspension.
Yeah, I just threw it out there because at the end of the day, I tell everybody when the NFL starts doing these suspensions, they're not playing. I mean, you go back to the 60s. That's the one I was young, but I remember just that story because both guys were major players. Alex Harris, a top defensive lineman for the Detroit Lions, and of course Paul Hornung. I think coming off of an MVP year where that guy did some stuff that nobody's ever going to do as far as scoring touchdowns from multiple positions and also kicking field goals and extra point. This guy was called the Golden Boy, I think former Heisman winner from Notre Dame, and they said, "Dude, you got to go to the house." And when he came back, Lombardi really treated him like a stepchild. And if I'm not mistaken, in that Super Bowl, before they traded him to New Orleans, I don't even think he played. He was on the sideline. So, yeah, man, I know the gambling is serious. I do think it's somewhat hypocritical because the NFL is doing so much with gambling now. You actually have a team in Las Vegas. And for a while there, that was one of the things they said, that they didn't want the players going to Las Vegas. So, I just think there's some hypocrisy going on right now at the NFL. But, again, you can't take away from – you can't bet on any professional sport. I don't care if you're betting on your own team. You can't. So
can I ask you a question? How is it? How are they being hypocritical when they tell the players? Every NFL player knows you can't gamble. So how is it being hypocritical?
Yeah, because I think it's because now you got a situation where you have a team playing in the city that is the capital of gambling. Number one. Number 2, the Raiders are now, I believe, the first team that are actually going to have active betting kiosks inside the stadium during the game.
So what does that have to do with the players?
Well, because
I don't see the.
Because to me, if you're saying that gambling is that detrimental to the sport, you can't have your hands in the pocket of the things you're telling players to keep them away from. I mean, they're signing contracts with all these virtual betting guys. I'm just saying, if betting is such an issue, why would you then profit from it? I mean, it's like it's either issue or it's not. To me,
well, you better
I see that. But just because the fans can do something doesn't mean the players can do it. I mean, they tell the players, and the players know you can't gamble. So you either risk your job and break the rules, or you keep your job and don't break the rules. So in that sense, that's the only way I don't see it being hypocritical. Just because, the NFL is making a ton of money off of gambling. And yes, they are in Las Vegas. I mean, we have a lot of players here in Georgia. We know everybody talks about Atlanta and strip clubs and stuff. Doesn't mean that just because you're here in Atlanta, it's okay to go and, you know what I'm saying, and do different things like that. So just because you're in that environment, everybody doesn't. Why are you holding your mouth?
Hey, what's the old saying? They say, don't get high off your own supply.
Well, okay, y'all. Okay, hang on. D-Led, you gotta help me. They hit them all, man. They talking about don't go to strip club. Okay, don't use your own product. I mean, But again, this is called the Real Talk Sports Show, so we just keep it real.
Yeah,
Oh,
Rick,
buddy boy.
the other point is that the NFL and the NFL Players Union agreed to these partnerships with gambling companies. FanDuel, it's like 6 partners. I had it in the story. FanDuel, DraftKings, all them people, they all agreed to split the profits up from the gambling people. So I mean, that's the problem. That's the blurred lines for that some people talk about, Ms. Tree. It's like, okay, we taking money from the gamblers. We're partnered with the gamblers. We got a team in Vegas. New Jersey's got legalized gambling. Florida too, apparently. And but we can't gamble. We, the players, can't gamble. Yeah, that's it. Okay, here's a money-making venture for you. Part of that $12 million you were set to get was gonna come from some of this gambling money, but you can't gamble. That's the dichotomy, is how Lee Steinberg explained it to me. It's like, hey, you got to leave the gambling partnerships on this side of the table and the players gambling over here, because you don't want the fans to think that, basically that the NFL is wrestling, that is fixed. And so you don't want the fans to start thinking, this is the WWE and whatnot. So, and I bet not say that to my great grandmother. I'd have been in trouble. She would have slapped me for saying wrestling's fixed.
She liked the WWE.
That's one of the things I found out as an adult, that my extremely stern Pentecostal, one of the first female ministers in the Church of God in Christ, that she, as she said, had a hankering for that wrestling. Yeah, but I mean, if you couldn't tell her there wasn't real guy jumping off that thing, man, off the sky coming down, and she would be tuning. And it's funny because I really never knew that until I was like an adult. That Nana liked to watch the wrestling. So, and Tyrone, you were doing a little smirking before when I was talking. You probably said something I didn't hear you. I bet you. Yes, yeah.
I was joking. I can always try to say a joke.
Well, I tell you guys, it's I don't know. It's going to be an interesting season. We got a lot of storylines. Deshaun Watson, when he's coming back or not. Back here, Tyrone, we got a situation with Felipe Franks. Should he play tight end? Should he not? I think they may keep him around. It seems like Arthur is a lot like Dan Quinn, D-Led. He likes to have guys that are like Swiss Army knife guys all over the place, because that seemed to be even a thing when they drafted. Well, this guy, the kid from where was he from? Montana. Where's the kid from that played Montana quarterback State. And then running back?
Yeah.
Where's he from?
Montana State.
Yeah, I mean, you got another guy that can play 2 or 3 different positions. So, I mean, maybe that's their vibe. Or maybe they want guys that can just, come at you trick plays and gadget plays. I'm really not sure, but it's going to be interesting.
You can't win no championships with gadget plays.
Wow, there you go.
Gadget
coming next.
Championship.
Say it again, Tyrone.
I said, gadget teams do not win championships.
Yeah, a lot of truth to that. But at least it'll be fun to watch. I mean, hopefully they'll win some games. Seriously, because D-Led, this whole problem, and Brian, you being in the entertainment field as well, you got to put fans in the seats.
Oh, absolutely.
So, yeah, they're gonna have to find a way, whether it be gadget plays, whether it be gimmicks, whether they're running 4 tight ends out there one time. I don't know, but they're gonna have to find a way to be entertaining and at least go 500. What were they last year? Were they 0-7?
Yeah,
1-7.
7-10.
No, but I'm saying at home.
Oh, at home, yeah.
The one was one in London, so they won nothing at home, yeah. But it's I think 800 is a real pie in the sky observation. They are trying to get more younger fans in. They got discounts for the high school players and college players, because the people that have been hard-earned payers are they kind of know what's coming. But to get the young fans in there at a reduced cost, you're trying to build your fan base over a long period of time. Now, Grant, they could shock the world and everything, but just look at the schedule. They could win the Saints game at home. They go to LA, maybe they can shock the Rams, and then they go to Seattle. They're gonna stay out there, and maybe they could start 2-1. 3-0 and get the momentum going. But, look at the rest of that schedule, and you really don't see any other wins other than, maybe Carolina twice. They got to play the AFC North. Could you see them beating Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Baltimore, or the Bengals? They got to play the NFC West, so you can see them beating Seattle. Can you see them beating the Rams, the Niners, or the I'm missing a third team out there.
Arizona Cardinals.
Arizona Cardinals. There we go. So they're not going to be favored in 8 of those games. So they're not. They're just not. And then they're not going to be favored against Tampa Bay. So that's 2 more. I'm up to 10 losses. So you got to look at this. This is a rebuilding team on the ground floor. You want to see how they play against these teams and how they can get better and start building for the future. But, to have a 500 expectation going into this season, I don't think it's realistic right now.
That's why Jonathan wants them to come up with them trick plays, because that's the only way they're gonna possibly have a chance to win 10 games.
They're gonna get them with a double reverse. They're gonna get them with my Pee-wee double reverse.
Listen, I don't care if they run a triple reverse. I don't care if they run a double halfback quarterback option. I'm standing still on 10-7 until they go 0-3. And I'm jumping off the bandwagon. I'm just telling you.
No, you can't jump off the bandwagon, because I'm
staying right here.
Long.
I'm staying with 10-7 because I believe that this draft that the Falcons had this year is going to be like the Falcons draft they had the 2 years before they went to the Super Bowl. I believe they're going to have at least 3 or 4 starters. They're going to have some impact players, and they're going to shock the world. I think the Rams are going to be still high in that Super Bowl win. They ain't going to be paying no attention. Tom Brady talking about he want to be a part owner with Miami, so I think we can split with them. My man over in New Orleans, we don't know what he can do. I mean, Jason, you don't know what Jameis Winston's going to do. Come on, man. So I'm staying with 10-7. And if they don't do that, I'm gonna put my emoji on the screen so y'all can't see my face crying. So just
when they don't do that, yes, it's not happening. But I did see how excited you were getting when D-Led was saying, "Hey, they may shock the world and they may win this." And I saw you over there. You were excited, like, "Hey!" And then he said, "It's not happening." And then I saw the face, like, "Oh, you were excited for a moment there."
Hey, can I try to show a little video? Will this video show on my phone? Who's there?
Oh.
Yeah, I see it.
Who's there right there?
Yeah, we.
Oh, great form. Great form.
There you go.
Thank you. My husband taught me everything I know about golf.
All right. That's steady and straight.
Hey, it's all about that swing radius, and 6'2" without them heels. Got that nice big swing radius.
Yes,
oh yeah,
got a big swing.
Indeed,
We'll have to sign her up for the Q's golf tournament in August.
Oh,
hey, look,
yeah,
man.
let me know.
She got to play for the ladies' teams. We'll be on the green in 1 or 2.
Listen, yes.
Look, she's all about it. She came out for the we had a wonderful event celebrating Parent University, and Tree was on the scene right there handling business. So yeah, listen. Speaking of sports, I want to just say one thing before I get off the air. I have one man here sitting here that knows that I at least made an attempt at the NFL, and this man was nice enough to record it. When Coach Quinn was here, he asked the media, "Who of you think that you can catch a punt?" And we had an OG contingent, and I will tell you, I was the leader of that contingent. And D-Lev was nice enough to tape it. Now, initially, I had the look of a guy that was a retired athlete. I came out, I was kind of on my toes. They put the helmet on, and then it all went left after that. Yeah. Yeah. I bounced on toes for a couple of seconds, and Coach Quinn, because he knows me, he's like, "Okay, OG, you can get it." And I drifted to the right, drifted to the left, and then my body was like, "Hey, the ball is like 5 feet in front." And then what I thought was a running towards the ball turned into a stumbling, and I had to stop because I don't want to be on YouTube falling head first. And the ball bounced about 2 feet in front of me. And Coach Quinn gave me that same look you have right now, Tyrone, like, "Dang, I thought you had more in you, OG." So, but I was on the field. D-Lab recorded. He was a witness. I was on the field.
I need to get a video. When I was in Dallas at Charles Haley's event, I had on my heels, and we were on the turf, and they threw me the ball, so they had me run a route, come, turn, stop, and jump and get the ball, and I had on my heels and a dress, and everybody was like, "Oh!" Because, I can play sports in heels too, but I got to get that video.
We need that. Because listen, I know your video has got to be better than what I saw on Instagram. I believe they had, and Brian, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe they had, the NFL was doing something with Nicki Minaj and Megan Thee Stallion. They had them running some
yeah,
drills.
that's her.
That's
That's
Cardi B. Cardi B.
Yeah, Cardi B. That's
Cardi
what it was.
B.
Cardi B.
That's her Facebook walk show. Yeah.
Right. I was
Yeah,
like,
they were like running a 40 and catching passes. Like, yeah.
Yeah,
Cardi B tackled the dummy.
Cardi B was a little high on the tackling dummy. She got a
tackling dummy.
Yeah, a little lower on the tackling dummy, but the Stallion looked pretty good running her 40.
She did. 40. Yeah, she did.
Yep. They compared it to her style to DK Metcalf, her upright running style. So I feel
they do call her the Stallion now.
Yeah, right. Can't do it. All right, guys, listen, we got to wrap this thing up. So you know how we do it. We like to go around the room and let everybody know how they can find out more about you. So we're going to get to Mr. Brian Jones. The floor is yours.
I appreciate it as always. I'm a sports and entertainment writer for popculture.com. You can find my work at popculture.com or popculture.com/sports. I actually got to watch the NBA film Hustle. It actually stars Adam Sandler and a bunch of NBA stars. I got to interview Kenny Smith, Anthony Edwards, and Juancho Hernando Gomez. All those interviews are up on the YouTube page of Pop Culture, and I also wrote articles for those interviews. So again, popculture.com/sports. That movie comes out on Netflix tomorrow. I'm also on Twitter. You can find that at Brian Jones _93. And I also have an Instagram page, and that's at Brian_L_Jones.
And there you go, guys, right there on the screen there on Instagram. You can follow him right there at Brian_L_Jones. Brian Jones, we thank you, sir, and look forward to having you back again real soon.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on.
All right. Mr. D. Orlando Ledbetter, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Reverend. You can find me on AJC.com. The Instagram is at DOrlandoLed. Twitter is at DOrlandoAJC. Bowtie Chronicles podcast dropping in the morning at 8 a.m. Cover 9 at 9 blog at 9 a.m. on every Wednesday. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, there it is right there. There it is, boys. There it is. D. Orlando Ledbetter in the house. Thank you, sir. We look forward to having you back on again real soon. All right, Mr. Tyrone Poole, the floor.
Hey, I forgot to ask D. Led, does he vote? Because I'm back up for the College Football Hall of Fame, man. They got to get me in this time. They got to.
Dude, come on, man. You got to be in there, sir. Yeah, you got to be in there. I mean, and I want to be there. Yeah, for that.
They got to get you in there, Tyrone.
Yeah, man. It got to be like that Bernie Mac movie, Mr. 3000.
Yes,
Let him in.
Let him in.
I like your shirt, by the way.
Yes, sir. Let's get that close up on that shirt. Well, he's about to go all by himself. The floor is yours.
All right. Again, Tyrone Poole, 2023 nominee again for College Football Hall of Fame. So if you want to keep up and see, do I get in? Will they let me in this time? So you got to tell them, let Tyrone in. Let him in.
Let him in.
Nobody ever done before. On first round from Fort Valley State Division II. But Tyrone Poole, 38, all social media. All right.
All right, so we look forward to having you back.
Nice swing. I had to put it up there. I said, let everybody see what our counterpart, our partner, how she swinged that club.
No, she looks smooth, man. I mean, like I said, nice swing. Hey, I'm gonna have to repost that on the page, bro. That looks smooth. Yes, indeed. Tyrone Poole, we appreciate you, bro.
All right.
All right. Tree Dolman, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. Today is Women's Golf Day. So I definitely posted that to celebrate all of the women in golf. And I encourage all women, all young girls to get in golf. It's such a great game. And also even men. It's a great game for everybody. You can find me on all social media at It's Latresa, as well as Ms. America International 2021. I also would like to say a huge, huge, huge thank you to every single person that donated, that walked, that ran for our Go Great for a Cure virtual 5K run to raise money for brain cancer awareness and brain cancer life-saving research. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It really means the world to me and the donations are going to a great cause, which is life-saving brain cancer research. So I'm hoping that we will find a cure for brain cancer very soon. So thank you again.
There we go. Ms. Tree Dolman. See you again next week. All right, guys. So I am actually a real live minister. I always point that out. And I will, you can follow me anywhere on social media and also follow the show right here at Real Talk Sports 7 is the show. At Mr. J. Sim is me. If you need to contact me or like to contact me, you can hit us up at jsimmons@realtalksports.net and simply call me on the cell 678-410-9833. We'd love to interact with you. And also, if you got any person that's doing some great stuff in the world of sports, especially doing some things off the field, if they're doing fundraisers, if they're supporting the community, we want them on the show. So again, hit me up with an email, jsimmons@realtalksports.net, or simply give me a call at 678-410-9833. All right, guys, so before I go, I would like to remind everybody, please, if you don't know God, please, it's real easy how you do it. Number one, repent of your sins. And number two, believe that his son, Jesus Christ, his government name, Yahshua HaMashiach, came here on the earth and was just like you and I. He was a man, but being fully God. And what he did was something unbelievable. He died for the sins of all of us and all mankind. And he rose from the dead. And when he rose from the dead, he had in his hand this wonderful gift called salvation. And that means if you repent of your sins and believe that, two great things will happen. Number one, you become a citizen of the kingdom of heaven. And number two, you become an adopted child of God with all the rights therein. That means that you now can go to God, not as just the creator of the universe, but you can go to him as your father. And just like a child that needs something from their parent, you can go ask him for anything that you need or desire, and according to his will, he'll grant it to you. And when you die, you get to go to a spectacular, beautiful, lovely, splendiferous place called heaven, which is none of the following: no pain, no pandemics, no bad people. It's never dark. It never rains. You never die. You never have pain. And you get to see God and Jesus Christ face to face and all the people that you love so much that have gone on before you. You even get a chance to see all the apostles and people like Moses. How cool is that? And you avoid that nasty place called hell, where all the things that are in heaven is not in hell. So it's dark, it stinks, it's painful, it's dreary, it's a place of anguish. And most of all, you're cut off from God, Jesus Christ, and all those people you love forever and a day. Now, I don't know about you, but I like option number one instead of option number two. All right, guys, until the next time, we see you again. God bless you and have a wonderful and marvelous day. So long.
Bye.